So Chad is going to try to disc the in-ground garden bed before it rains this afternoon. It's supposed to rain a little bit about 1 o'clock according to my phone, and for sure about 4 o'clock in the evening and on, which I will be at work. Oh no. Oh no, please go. There we go. That tractor is good old JD. Absolutely. So hopefully there's going to be lots of progress. I know for sure these babies are ready. They're ready and they're sad, and I'm feeling the soil, and that needs drainage holes in it. I need to put some drainage holes in that pot before I bring it back inside. But these plants seem to be okay for now in this, and I'll deal with that after work. These plants need watered. I mean, that's just what's going on. They really, it's hard. They're extremely root bound. And I'm trying to keep them at a decent size so I could put them in the pre-burnt holes in my landscape fabric. And some things just may end up being a dream this year about getting in the ground because it's impatient with me, but whatever. Some stuff is, like my Tabasco pepper here. Look at that. Look at her. Hey, baby. And you know what? Maybe I'll put her in a pot and try growing her inside. And here's a Serrano pepper. These things are, I don't know, these things are nice and prolific. This one basil looks like it's trying to hold on to a prayer, and this one says, well, so some of my dreams of gardening this year are just not going to happen. And look at my yeller squash. I snapped the main stem on it, and I thought maybe it'll grow back new growing points on it, but I don't know if the squash bugs have gotten to it and I damaged it, which is a good possibility. So I'm probably going to have to start more seeds inside and transplant out because squash bugs are on their full force this time of year, and they will need really, really extra protection. Or put it in a pot and put like tulle or something like that over it so that the squash bugs can't get into it, bug netting, which is also a good idea, except for they do not self-pollinate, so you would have to go in and hand pollinate that squash, and you're also taking away flowers from the pollinators. So what do you do? What do you do? And this is Oliver. He's been lonely now for over a month, and he's going bat you know what crazy. He has killed all of my hens. He's leaving July 5th, thankfully, and he'll be happier again. He neighbors at the Winnie horses. He's lonely. He's interested in what we do outside, but whenever you turn around and try to touch him, he's scared. So he needs a herd again. He really does. I feel raindrops. I'm going back in and going to work. All right, so now it's early afternoon. Chad's got a lot done. I've gotten started on some of my other plant rescue, save plants from me stuff, so I can show you all that now. I don't know why I struggle to say all that, but look, he flail mowed out there, plowed, and it's ready. We are a lot closer to getting plants in the ground. It's just amazing. The last 2 years we've been getting the in-ground garden out late May and basically planted in the early to mid-June. So this is a whole month back. That's just how much rain we've had this year. It's just crazy. But my tropical plants are loving it as long as they are not in that rain. They just loving that humidity and the heat, I promise. Except for like these Mediterranean plants, they're not really going to care for all that as much. I mean, they can deal with drought better than these other plants. That's what I meant to say. But let's come look out here. That my quick snack pickling cucumber, it does not need water. It's just saying, oh, I'm exhausted. Either that or it's overwatered, or who knows. It's either overwatered or it's exhausted, and I just need to leave it alone. But look, I got another cucumber off of it to pick. So see, I'm still getting cucumbers. It's my second one now. Try to pick her off. Yes. So these do not need water. These need, I think these peppers are going to make it. I think they're going to do okay, and I think they are just fine sitting in that water. I'm more concerned about these peppers right here. I think I'm going to take these. We're supposed to get I don't know. I'm just gonna go ahead and up pot those just because they look a lot sadder. These tomatoes look like they're trying to come back now. Like they've just been through it, but they're troopers, okay? Oh man. So here's some other plants I let sit in a tray, like the ones up there, besides the olive trees and the peppers that needed, and basil that just needed up potted, like the calamintha and the sage and stuff. They sat there and they've just, the variegated oregano, it does not mind the water as much as the thyme did, and that's probably why this oregano is flourishing, and my thyme, I can't grow it there. That, and I don't know, I've tried putting thyme there 2 years in a row, and I just think maybe I ought to try growing it in a container and bringing it in and out of the house, you know. Just that and rosemary. I think maybe that's just, I'm at a threshold in my region. Ooh, this porch is hot and I'm barefooted. So we're getting out of there. But I think that's what I'm going to do this afternoon, is up pot those peppers. Well, I ought to come out here and work with my squash too, because it looks like that yellow squash is trying to make a comeback. Woohoo! But I'm still going to probably start another seed as a backup just in case. And see, it's hot and the plants are wilting and it's okay. I do need to weed out there some more though too. That's for sure. Yeah, maybe I need to get those in some different soil. It's in straight cocoa coir, so maybe I ought to play around with those plants too. And I don't know, I'm just gonna play around with plants today. Just try to save these plants from myself. All right, so I'll probably end up spending the evening doing that. So this morning I've been trying to upload my save my plants from myself video for like a day and a half now, and I've given up because I've turned the Wi-Fi on, turned it off. I've just tried uploading. It's taken extremely a long time for a 10-minute video, 20-minute video. I can't remember. I edited it quite a bit because the olive tree, I don't know. No, that was the other video. Anyway, whatever. It's taken a ridiculously long time, and I just said scrap that plant. So some of the stuff I'm probably talking about might not make that much sense since that video is not there, but that's okay. It wasn't that important. All right, so we have two Hoyas here that I have to save from myself. I'm still trying to adjust this ring light a little bit. Still fairly new for me in the usage. It's my bad for not playing with it enough, but if you see, I have watering imbalance issues. I either overwater them or underwater them, and I think I'm just going to move them to something smaller in terracotta, and that way it's gonna, it's gonna be a lot harder for me to overwater, and it's just gonna be easier to figure out. So I'm going to get all these out. We'll take a look at the roots too. We have them out. This is a variegated Bertonier. And I just watered it not too long ago, and it looks really sad. So I'm definitely not going to water this in. We're going to let it settle in its new pot, recover, and then I will water it. Well, let's take it out of there. Let's see what these roots look like. Loosen all this stuff up. See, there's still sphagnum moss around it. And so that's causing watering imbalance along with the pot size too. So if you go too big of a soil change or substrate change there, substrates are okay to mix together, especially if you have it in the ratio of your substrate already. It could cause watering imbalances. And obviously I didn't get this one off enough. The sphagnum is pretty dry, but so maybe I will go ahead and, I don't know. I just watered her though, so I'm just not going to. It's better to underwater than overwater. Oops, I'm sorry, I'm working out of underneath the camera there. Get those out of the way so no spag falls in. And also I heard from a big company that likes to root in spag that you're supposed to dunk these in water when removing the sphagnum moss, but I don't know if I'm going to do that quite yet. I'm okay with picking for now. Okay, that's better. Let's see if that looks faggy. Does that look faggy to you? It's kind of hard to tell with the root color and the stuff the same color. But I don't think so. I really don't have anything else flaking off. I think this is looking pretty good. I think here in some corners here we might have some. Just double checking. Alright, I think we're good. And then let's see what's going on with Rosita here. Ooh, those are some nice chunks. Those are definitely going back in this mix. I know this one I haven't had potted up in this mix for too terribly long. It's just not liking for whatever reason. I don't like you, ma'am, they say. I don't like your conditions. So let's try to fix it. This one doesn't look like it's got a lot of spag on it. Maybe, I don't know. Okay, those roots look pretty clean too. So now we got little Miss Rosita and variegated Bertoniae. And these holes on the bottom of if you look, like from my knuckle to the end of my thumb is approximately 1 inch. That's how I measure. It's a little under 2-inch pot. So I'm not, the soil's really not going to drain down through there, so I'm not going to do my little trick that I sometimes do with the window screen. But I am putting a chunk of stuff down there. Keep it, help it drain better, especially with that small hole. And then we'll grab some regular substrate along with the chunks in there and just slap her in. Okay. Now I gotta leave enough to backfill. Okay, tap her in, because I'm not going to water her in, so I'm just going to let her settle in. There we go. Do a little bit more. She's ready. Yeah, this I'm probably just going to chuck out in a raised bed somewhere. But look, all those roots fell off. It was well rooted, but see, there's a bunch of spag still on there, so it caused root rot, and this part of the root fell off. And so now the plant has to repair itself in a pot too big for its current root system. So that is exactly what's going on. So I'm doing the right thing by doing this. Sometimes I get these crazy ideas, oh, let's try this, and that's fine. I love experimenting with plants, but sometimes it just doesn't turn out the way you hope it does. Okay. Yeah, see, there might still be just a slight amount of spag on there, but this is going to be way more gooder for her. Oh, see, that leaf fell off. Poor leaf. I'm going to water this one. I don't remember. Yeah, actually, this is the variegated Bertoniae shoot. Yeah, I'll watch them for another day and see how they do, because it's going to be way better to underwater. Oops, you can't see what I'm doing, duh. You want to see my pot? I mean my little mix here? That's what it looks like, and I typically try to aim, you know, accordingly for what I'm potting for. But this I can use in any of my aeroids too. But if I'm aiming for Hoya, I'm going to pick out quite a bit more chunks. Or if I'm doing a bunch of Hoya, I could set it up to way more chunkier, or just, you know, however. And I like that. So there's this one. All right, there's those. And now I think I'm going to start some seeds if you want to stick around for that. Alrighty, so we got my base trays out. I got a couple different cell trays here because I'm going to do a tray each of Brussels sprouts and broccoli for sure. Cold tolerant, brassicas, peas, alliums, root crops. No, I don't think I'm going to do root crops down there. I'd rather do root crops in my raised beds. Alrighty, so this is awesome. This is going to be a perk of not having equine anymore. I mean, obviously, keeping other animals around is beneficial for, well, the diversity of your soil, fertilizer, and stuff like that. Larger animals can also help deter predators from killing my chickens, which is also an added bonus. And they help mow the grass. And if your car fails, if they're broke, you can ride them. So there's definitely benefits to having them, plus all the therapeutic stuff that goes along with it. But sometimes it's stressful to have them, and sometimes it's just not even that. Sometimes it's just not fathomable, which is kind of sad, but it is what it is. All right, green sprouting. The purple sprouting, I need someone to take those seeds that it does not get below 15 degrees Fahrenheit, because I grew these in my raised beds, which probably I should have done it in ground because it's going to keep the plant warmer in the wintertime. But it was covered, and they took the first real cold hit, but they did not take the second or the third after that. So if somebody is more southern than me and would like these seeds, let me know. Please take them. Or if you're growing them inside or have different conditions than me, please take them. There. Long Island Proved, Groninger. And I guess that's the only kind of broccoli I have right now. So maybe I can get my hands on some heading broccoli. This one I might hang on to and not start quite yet because it's not. I might wait a couple weeks and start this one. Well, why would I? Because of the heat. Because of the extreme heat of summer is the thing I'm scared of. But let's check out how many seeds are in there, and then we'll decide. Do we experiment or do we not? That's going to be the answer to my question there. I think it's worth the experiment. I'll have enough for one experiment, and then one, you better be serious. Well, why don't I do a tray of each of the Brussels sprouts since those seeds are starting to age, and then I can do a whole thing of a whole tray of that. Yep, be right back. So in this blend, I added the Organolock here into the soil, and I also added extra perlite into there of the Back to Roots, and then some really fine perlite that I've had for a couple years, and it's so fine. I'm just trying to use it up and get rid of it, honestly. So it's just in there for that, and maybe it'll help benefit seed starting since it's super small. I don't know. Just chuck it in there. All right, it's got to go. So let me go grab my thingy majiggies. The Organolock has come from a gentleman that's been coming into a Rural King since I've started working there. So he's probably been there longer than me, but he has this business up in Hanson, Kentucky, where he makes product that enhances your microbiome and also fertilizers, and he's also won prizes for that Organolock and stuff. So I am experimenting with it myself. Hence the mushrooms in my soil. It probably helps produce those. I mean, you could get mushrooms in your soil without that. I'm just saying it might be. So put that one to the side. I'm going to fill up this tray here. This is my grandma's old measuring cup, and it's great for a soil scoop. I see soil scoops sold on Amazon and other places all the time for like $5, $7 a piece. This is the same thing. It's free. And it was grandma's. Now, you don't need to add fertilizer to your seed starting mix. That's why it's seed starting mix. Seeds have plenty of nutrients in them until after they get past their first leaves. When they start getting their true leaves in is when you're going to want to start fertilizing them. But since I'm kind of lazy and busy, both at the same time and forgetful, all three, that's a deadly combination. And so I'm going to just use potting soil, especially Fox Farm, that doesn't have a lot of sticks, twigs, and stuff that is bad for the roots. And then, you know, you could always lighten it up with more perlite if you want. I'm doing this because then if I add to my other mix, like in the other container there, I can use this as a base and then add the chunks to it. So I like to keep 2 of these. I'm just still trying to make sure she's evenly spread out there. Got even amounts of soil. All right, now I'm just nitpicking. Since this broccoli's already opened up, I'll go ahead and start her. I think I'd like to start more cilantro and stuff too, especially since I've got tomatoes coming on. I'm going to need to make more salsa. So I'm going to try starting some cilantro too. Well, shoot. You know what? We'll start these and then I'm going 2 per cell tray. I'll just get more seeds. Somebody's got to have more broccoli seeds. I'd like a sprouting variety to try one of those. I've never tried one. They're supposed to just keep on putting on small florets, and then you pick off their florets like broccoli rabe, and they just keep putting them out for like that for a while. I misjudged how many seeds I had, but that's fine. We'll just stick these somewhere in there to add in. All right, I'm going to just kind of push them in there a little bit. And I'm going to stick this sprinkling of soil on top and call her good. And then I'll bottom water her in, or top water her in, whatever I decide to do at the time. Probably wait till all these trays are done and then do it together, because I got more plant chores to do, like spraying off my tropical hibiscus and watering her, and you know, things of that nature. All right, so those are just little labels for me. I wrote on them, impermanent marker. That way I can just wipe them off with rubbing alcohol to clean them off. I'm going to go ahead and water these in. I got some rainwater in this bucket this time. It looks like I'm going to have a week of drought though, so I'm going to want to buy a couple things of distilled water for plants that I really don't want to put tap water in, because I've read it might be scary. So when I run out of rainwater, I do buy distilled water for certain plants. Not saying that I haven't watered them with tap water before, but I just try to avoid it. Just play it safe. Distilled water's not that expensive anyway if you're just buying it once in a while. But a lot of the plants I had to save for myself. This didn't need saved. I just thought it was going to do better in a smaller pot. Like, see, White Princess got moved to a smaller pot with more chunky mix. I think it's going to do better. It didn't need saved yet. So then what else do I got? I got Hoya fungi. I took a leaf off of it. It also has gotten some weird spots on the leaf. So I played it safe. It looked like they had fine pine bark and a little bit of perlite basically as their substrate in a bigger pot, and Some of the cuttings in there, they were just dead. So that's just telling me you're going to need to play it safe and go smaller. So I did, and look how the roots actually fit in this one pretty easily. They're nice and comfortable in there. They still got some room to grow though. Other plants I've saved for myself, again, more preventative measures. I just took the soldering gun and went around some of these plastic pots just because of things that I have already experienced, like my trailing begonia. It has very shallow roots for the pot, and it was taking the, sorry about that, my hand hit the screen. It was taking the, I was being told by my app to water it, and it was taking it. But I think there for a while, when we got a lot of rain and the mist at the same time, is when this plant had a hard time keeping up with the watering schedule. So I'm trying to propagate a leaf and a stem in there. We'll see if it does it. If not, that's fine. And then I've taken a cutting that I am trying to propagate in sphagnum moss, and then obviously I have her in a reduced size pot. So we did a lot of that. Did a lot of burning holes. This little guy I got on Amazon for like $8. I don't know how good it is at soldering, but it works good enough to burn holes in plastic. So for $7 to make my life easier, it's worth it. So all right, guys, this video has gotten quite long enough, and I am so excited to basically have that planted and get more done with this yard. I'm gonna miss that little cuteness out in the yard. Look at him, he's cute. And I got a honeybee checking out my lipstick plant there. Anyway, guys, thank you for stopping by. I love you, and so does Jesus. God bless.